This is our first Meditation Monday, and I'm inviting you guys to join me to sit and meditate together. It's hard to find uh, groups in your area. It's hard to find groups to, just sit and meditate with that know what they are doing and know what they're talking about. So I'm hoping to provide a landing spot for you guys to come and join me and meditate along with me. So just a little bit of background. I am a certified meditation teacher. I studied with David Nichtern in New York City. He's part of a group called Dharma Moon, and I got my certification 3 years ago, and I have taught on and off. I usually pair it with yoga practice, so I will do a yoga, maybe half an hour of yoga and 15 to 20 minutes of meditation following yoga. Um, Yeah, and just a little background about meditation in general. Meditation's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Uh, it's part of many religious traditions and um, different philosophies. Um, a lot of it has to do with calming the mind and letting the spirit be open to whatever needs to come in. The Buddha was probably one of the first to codify it and give it a purpose. So, um, the Buddha is famous for his Four Noble Truths that life is suffering and there's a way out if you realize that, you can calm your mind and um, kind of be aware of your thoughts and know that you are not your thoughts, then you have a path to follow that is not suffering. Meditation is also remembering. The Pali word for meditation is sati, S-A-T-I, and sati translates roughly as remembrance or being remembering the present moment, remembering oneself. And we are always remembering to come back to the anchor, whatever it is that we're anchoring on. Either it's the breath or maybe a mantra, a repeated phrase. And so that's meditation in a nutshell. It's one of those things that is simple, but it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do for a lot of people. But, if we establish a practice together, if we sit together at least once a week, that practice becomes part of our life. And, when you have these thoughts going around in your head and you have thousands of thoughts, you come back to the anchor 1,000 times. Maybe the next time you practice, over a month, it becomes 100 times, and then it becomes 10, and your mind does start to get a little calmer. One of the analogies that I love is a bottle of water with sand or something in it, and you shake it up, and the water is all murky and you can't see through the glass, but you put the glass on the table and all of a sudden the stillness of the water allows all of that murkiness to fall to the bottom. Does it all fall to the bottom, and is the water completely clear? No, but the majority of it is, and you can see through and be able to uh, you know navigate through that water a little bit easier. So here are the three things that we need to think about when we sit and meditate. The first one is how we sit. So you can sit on the ground, you can sit crisscross applesauce, you can sit on a cushion. I'm going to be sitting in a chair, and I find that to be most comfortable sitting in a chair. But when you sit in a chair, it's not totally relaxed like you're sitting in the lazy boy kind of chair. When you sit, you want to sit with purpose. So maybe back away from the chair, sitting just on the edge of the chair, back is long, your neck continues the back, and the crown of your head is going towards the ceiling. So the back is engaged and strong, and the front, where your heart is soft and welcoming. So sitting, feet flat on the floor in front of you, in a comfortable position, hands on top of your thighs. If you've been taught to do, any kind of mudra, you can, put that in front of your belly. But I meditate with my hands on my thighs, palms down. The next thing we need to think about is our breath. So as soon as you find your seat, next thing you find is your breath. And you're breathing in through your nose. You can breathe out through your mouth or through your nose, depending on whether you're suffering from allergies or not. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose. But it's not any kind of contrived breath. It's just a normal in and out breath. But you're noticing it. You notice the in and you notice the out. The third thing that we need to think about is our thoughts. The brain is a thinking organ. It does what it does, and we think because it's a way of protecting ourselves. We have memories of where that saber-toothed tiger was hiding last time we were, going through this part of the jungle, and we know, not to go that way. So it brings up anxieties, it brings up things we need to think about, things we need to avoid. It also brings up things that we love and things that we want to hold on to. But these thoughts come, and you really can't predict what thoughts are coming up. Try to predict your next thought. It's difficult, if you can do it at all. But the thing that we do have power over is how we observe those thoughts. And we can observe them and either latch onto them, investigate them, interrogate them, and shoot off and go to another thought, or all sorts of things. But the choice that we have is to do that and attach ourselves and make ourselves more anxious, or we can notice the thought and, like smoke, the thoughts dissipate, they go away, only to be replaced by another thought. But that's the game, right? That's what we're trying to work with, and we're trying to smooth out, is that noticing of thoughts, noticing it is a thought, and just letting it pass on by. So many analogies, the thoughts are like a river. You're just standing on the bank and watching the river go by. One of the ones that I really like is you're standing on a street corner in New York City, lots of people going by, thinking of those people as thoughts. You don't run across the street and tap someone on the shoulder and start engaging with them. No, you stay on your side of the street and you just watch them go, watch them get on the subway and go wherever they're going, and you don't think about them again. So That's the three things that we are doing. And, when you do catch yourself engaging with a thought, you just come back to the breath. And, like I said, we may come back to the breath 1,000 times, and that's okay. That's the practice. That's the practice. So, some tricks if you're just beginning, if this is the first time you're sitting, or if you're coming back to it after a long time, you can count the breath. You can count 1, 2, count like that. You're not going to actually vocalize 1, 2, 3. You're going to, think the number. Um, don't go too high. If you go above 5 or 6, you start to get lost. I would suggest you stay at, 5 and then go back to 1. So cycle through 1 through 5. You can also say, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. You can use a word. One of the wonderful styles of meditation is called centering prayer. And centering prayer is based on a word that you choose to say as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So if you choose a word like peace, you breathe in peace, breathe out peace. You can have two words, breathe in peace, breathe out gratitude, or something of that nature. So, those could be your aids to help you stay with the breath. But yeah, so every time you find yourself latching on to a thought, following a thought, just say to yourself, thinking, I'm thinking. And come back to the breath, come back to your word, come back to counting, or, something of that nature. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Let's begin. Find your seat. I'm going to ring my bowl 3 times to begin. Start to find your breath. So starting to find your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth or the nose. And you can practice with eyes open or eyes closed, whatever feels comfortable. If you're looking at the screen, perhaps you might want to turn to the side so you don't have to look at me. Start to bring awareness back to your body. If your eyes are closed, open your eyes. So once again, the practice is simple, but not necessarily easy. Um, I don't think, let me see if there's anybody who wants to add something to the chat. If you'd like to ask a question, I'm going to put this up on Substack and also on my YouTube. Meditations will always be free to join. If you want to leave some questions for me as to the mechanics of meditation or anything else, like how do you deal with a thought that won't go away, or how do you deal with an itch on your face, how do you deal with pain from sitting, like if you're sitting in an awkward position. If you're sitting in an awkward position, the answer to that is to get up, adjust, and come back to the practice. It's like a thought, right? So that's a very simple meditation practice. And I would encourage you to, if you did this today with me, to do it tomorrow by yourself. Set a timer, and if you feel like 5 minutes is your limit or 10 minutes is your limit, set a timer for that time, and just try it on your own. And like starting any new habit, I would suggest that you attach it to another habit that you have. So, for example, everybody brushes their teeth, right? So I hope. So in the morning, if you have time after you brush your teeth, put your toothbrush down and go into the room where you meditate and sit for 5 minutes after you brush your teeth, or attach it to exercise. I love to meditate after exercising. My mind is really calm after exercising for some reason. So, after a run or after working out, find a place to let your nervous system just come back to homeostasis, and sit down and meditate for 5 to 10 minutes after working out or exercising. So I'd love to make this a continual or regular occurrence, I should say. So join me again next Monday for Meditation Mondays. Take care.